In my experience, rattlesnakes react similar to this, where as I approach it, it just goes in the opposite direction. He sure isn't being very skittish. Some new gifts were sent in, mealworms included. You can set up some pretty extravagant mealworm farms, but you can just, throw some feed in the bottom of a bucket, like oats or something like that. Make sure they have some vegetables like potatoes, and they should be good. Better try it. There you go. It's probably been about a week since I put some wiggler worms in the ground here. My soil is basically like compost because it's not fully composted. And as I dug them up, it looks like they are bouncing back. When you ship them, they kind of shrink up, and as they get more moisture, they become a little more bountiful and happy, and they look like they're doing good. These sunchokes were sent in as well. Some of these things just don't have names, so I'm not sure who sent them in. And I wasn't sure where to plant them, so I thought overnight. And in the morning I decided there's this little hugelkultur I kind of started to build that I haven't used yet. And I'm planting them there, and I'll kind of show you guys to give you an idea where it's located on the homestead. So here's the root cellar for reference, and there's this little building I have here, and the water falls down into that hugelkultur, and there's the rest of the garden. Well, my van wouldn't start this morning, and I'm grateful that I have a couple extra starters on hand. This one I had used before got mud in it, and it was starting to give me problems, and I didn't understand what the problem was at the time, so I replaced it. However, now I know I could just knock the dirt out and it'll still work. Hi. You come to help me with the starter? See this bull snake over here? I hear a cat in the shop. See the bull snake starting to gonna creep across the driveway. In my experience, rattlesnakes react similar to this, where as I approach it, it just goes in the opposite direction. So a lot of people are worried about rattlesnakes, and for the most part, you can just do exactly what I'm doing here. Just kind of walk it out, and it'll go on its way. They don't really want no trouble as long as you don't have something they really want, like a cat. Go on your way there, buddy. Matter of fact, I mean, having this guy out a little ways is a blessing because he'll get rid of pack rats and whatever. I just don't want him to get into the chicken coop and take any of our eggs. And I really don't want one of the little cats here to want to play with it. There it goes. On out the fence. Keep on going, buddy. Almost there. I won't follow you no more. Well, I got that out of the way. I usually do projects that I don't really want to do first thing in the morning. Then it's done, and your day just feels, it's like a relief already. Just a couple hours in, you're like, and I get to go do stuff with the flowers or plants or the bees. Guys, there are these little, they look like little shrimp or something. Do you guys know what these are? Did you see them swim away? Hopefully there's something productive like pond slugs or something and not mosquitoes. I did add some of the pond snails from my pond into the aquaponics. There's one and there's one there that are live, and one down there, and they're cleaning the algae. You know, between covering this in shade and them, the algae's gone down a lot, I think. And I don't know if maybe they had babies and that's what their little babies look like, or if that's just, I don't know if that's a good thing or a pest. I've never seen them. Look at see how it moves? Oh, it quit moving. See how they're swimming around like little shrimp or worms or something? If you know what they are, comment below. I could easily just whip them out with a net, and that's part of why I kind of think they might not be a pest, because that would be too easy to remove, you know. And anyway, another thing I notice are these little gnat-like guys all over. Are those amphids? Maybe I need to get a bunch of ladybugs to kill them. I have been lucky to have, I've seen a few ladybugs, just native ladybugs already. I don't think I explained to you guys yet my little trellis here. This is just, I just lightly tied some string up to a string that runs across the way. And it's just so that the snap peas can climb up that string and be more productive and happier. I have 2 peas in here that are already tied up, and I think there's 2 more coming in. The trees, all these hybrid willows still look really unhappy. If I had the pots at the first place, I think I would have just planted them before they grew any leaves on them and then watered them. I'm pretty sure a lot should bounce back, but leaving them in the aquaponics, I did that. I had them over here getting roots, mostly because I didn't have any way to plant them all yet. And I think that was a pointless step. If I had the pots, it would have been best to just throw them in and get them established that way, just keeping them soaked. So that's what I'll do in the future if I can. Look at this. I think this might be what's in my aquaponics. It's bizarre. It's like it looks like a peacock almost. Doesn't look like it's gonna bite or nothing. What is that? It's friendly, huh? When I run to the city to pick up panels to finish the greenhouse, I'll pick up 2 pipes that are 1.25 inches. I didn't have the large enough pipes for these, so I'll get those and then I can install. I have 2 of these pumps, one for both of my cisterns. There was a hummingbird over here just now feeding on the flowers from my arugula. And I think it's gone now. What a bummer, right? There's so many amazing things I see and I can't get the camera out in time. Look how well these things are flowering up though. They're gonna seed like crazy. I've got like 30 arugula plants that I don't even water. I'm gonna have so many seeds. And after 10 months, my pond finally dried up, which is fine. I pretty well expected that. That'll give me a chance. The end over here, the wind was able to get under, and this is an ugly side. I don't like how that is, so I'll fold the liner in and dig down so that I can bury it more like this around the edges. And eventually I'd like to get rocks and plants all around over here, so we'll get there. I watered my dogs every day for 10 months out of that pond, and it didn't touch the pond. The pond just finally dried up pretty much, you know. It took a long time. So, gosh, I don't know, if I had a slightly larger pond, it might never dry up. The other day, I wanted to mention, the other day I made a post about how do you think that you'd pay for things if the economy collapses? And I was kind of surprised to see how many people think gold is a joke. And also surprised to see how many people think that just the economy collapsing is going to be like an absolute apocalypse. I think a lot of people's minds go to the most extreme situation, period. And yeah, possibly in the absolute most extreme situation possible, maybe gold wouldn't be valued quite as much, because people are like, well, what am I, like if I was the only person on earth and I ran my homestead, then gold wouldn't mean much for me. You know what I mean? But in the last 10,000 years, or all of humanity, gold has always been valuable. No matter the crisis, no matter the economic problems, no matter the wars, world wars, gold was always valuable. And there's almost always a country somewhere that's successful while everything else is collapsed, where gold would still be valuable. In that way, the Aztecs, the Spaniards, it's always been valuable. And I would bet my life that there will be some sort of value on it always. And I thought that maybe it'd be helpful to voice to you guys that for the many people, it was like 80% of you guys think that precious metals are trash. They're never ever going to be trash. If you do any research for true investment, there's a lot of garbage articles out there that say that it will be trash, mostly preppers. But if you look at real investors and the studies, the main reason is gold will always hold value because it's a good way to store money. It obviously does jewelry, that's the go-to, but it's involved in technology and medicine, and you know how they have colloidal silver? They use colloidal gold too. There are so many uses that people don't think of, the average person, and it's probably a benefit to the rich people that you guys think it's worthless, and that's why you've never bought any, and that's why they're rich and you're not. And I just wanted to point it out, like, trade is awesome. It's wonderful to produce your own food, water, and shelter. And if you're doing that, then you don't really need to trade much with people anyway. But if the economy doesn't just disappear like that, it gradually dissipates if there was an issue. And if the economy basically collapsed and things are kind of falling apart, the dollar's no longer valuable so much, it'll go to gold and silver immediately. And if you want to buy a vehicle, your vehicle just falls apart and you need to buy a vehicle, it'll be hard to buy a vehicle with toilet paper or 1,000 cans of food or whatever you got. Gold and silver has its place, I promise you, and having a well-rounded balance for that will be the most valuable bet. I guarantee it. Having a little bit of precious metals, having things that you can trade, producing your own sustainability, I think that's the most well-rounded will, and I haven't heard a better argument. I'm a Leo, by the way, so you can tell me I'm wrong until you're blue in the face and it won't change my opinion. But I think I'm right, guys. And hey, look, we got another video together. I'll try to get it up today. If you guys want to find yourself a piece of land like this, check out my link below for discount lots. Use my code DLFrugal10. Email me your order number to make sure I get credit for the sale. That really helps me build my homestead. And as well as I power my entire homestead. I have a 400 amp hour system in my van that I just put a 200-watt solar panel on. That runs mostly my fridge, my heater, and then occasionally, this is how it works, is I run my Zendir Super Base Pro. It's like $1,000 unit. It's crazy. You can get a good deal on it. Sometimes it's 1,500, I think, or so. But it's the hands down best small unit I've ever seen. I put almost my entire 1,400 watt array into it, and you could put more into it. I put about 1,200. The other 2 goes to the van. Between those 2 systems, I run my entire homestead. I'm talking skill saws. I recharge all my batteries for my drills. The batteries for my chainsaw and for my weed whacker. I run my laptop and charge my phones. Everything you could dream of, I do that with those little systems. One's, a hand-built system. It was, just a simple van system. And then the Zendir Super Base Pro, my very favorite power station. You can get that at a discount using my link down below. And, well, there's a lot of projects coming up, so subscribe if you want to learn more about my homestead, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Oh, a little added value for you guys. Look how huge my boar is. That's Snoop Hogg. Look at his tusks coming out. Man, he can really do some damage. And that's Bonnet. So her mom, my original sow, was Bonnie, and she was one of her babies, and that's Bonnet, and she's pregnant. So she'll be having piglets, I believe, July 1st.